Scum and Villainy. Anyone have a recap of last session?
Yeah, I can do a recap.
All right.
Okay, so. Okay, so we were trying to rescue Dr. Orahas, who was a previous tutor of Mishishi, and she was basically in deep with one of the big criminal syndicates whose name I forget momentarily.
The Ashen Knives.
Ashen Knives, that was it, yeah. And we'd been hired because to sort of bring her in because it was believed she was like illegally trading organs. It actually turned out that these sort of Ashen Knives had basically forced her to turn some of their assassins into like cybernetic sort of give them in cybernetic enhancements, and she was well under the thumb, couldn't see a way out. So we pretty much came up with like the world's most straightforward plan, i.e., hover the ship next to a window, let down a rope ladder, get her up the rope ladder. My character Zenith went in to delay the no doubt wave of cybernetic assassins that were going to come after her. Mishishi managed to acquire 2 black market EMP grenades that I took in with me. So I went in, used my way user mind trick to get her to go straight up the rope without asking any questions. The assassins came in, 2 of them went down with the EMP. I scuffled with some of the others, sort of force leapt onto the ladder. A couple of them followed me. The ship's flying away, assassins and me going up the ladder. One of them was just about to get onto the ship, so I used my enhanced Wayblade to cut through the assassin's arm and the ladder. Zenith and the assassins plunged down on the ladder. Thinking quickly, Mishishi fired a grappling hook down that I was able to grab hold of. The assassins continued to fall down. We then had a bit of a debate about where Dr. Arahas wanted to go, and it was eventually decided that we should turn her in to the people who had originally hired us, with the proviso that we'd give them all the information. You know, she wasn't dealing in black market organs, but the Ashen Knives were after her, and we turned her over as a legitimate bounty. Unfortunately, after we got paid like a fairly hefty sum of cash for that, the local gendarmes came knocking and were like, "Oh, we're going to take someone in again." And again, we paid them off, which totaled most of our money. Ship repairs totaled the rest. So we're back on like Poor Street, and we decided at the end of the session we were going to try and get another mission for the night speakers with this strange sort of way using cult who all wear weird freaky masks.
The Night Converses.
Yeah, who we're on quite good terms with, and we're sort of trying to cement an alliance with them. And we didn't come up with any details at the end of last session. That's why we sort of left off saying, yeah, we want to go get a mission with them.
Yep. For the purposes of ingratiating ourselves to the Night Speakers, helping them out. Now, we've previously worked for them, taking care of a highly unusual burial ritual previously, and we retrieved an item from a hijacked passenger ship as well for them. And now we are going to do something a little bit different. So, yeah, it is going to be reckless, I think, probably.
Yes.
The night.
If
Yep.
we must. Take it to the limit.
It's a combination of an illegal bounty, which is to say, it's not a bounty at all. It's just you kidnapping someone for money. It's an illegal bounty and also a retrieval task that you went up to the Night Speakers and then got as a result of your conversations, because they are on good terms with you. And you kind of came up and asked, like, yeah, is there work for us, people of our caliber? And there definitely is. They briefed you in on an operation that they have going on, which is really sort of they're piggybacking off of another operation that the Lost Legion is about to execute. Now, the Lost Legion, as we talked about previously, in a couple of episodes, I believe. The Lost Legion is a faction in the Procyon sector, which they used to be the previous hegemon's personal bodyguard. This and when I say guard, it's like the guard, a whole bunch of highly trained, highly equipped, highly capable individuals who used to guard the hegemon, the previous hegemon, that is, and then who disagreed with the ascension of the current hegemon and thus went into exile and were cast out and became outlaws. So they are a faction in our sector of space, and they are about to act against the Church of the Stellar Flame, which we hold no love for those people. We previously met them on a couple of occasions, one of which was a job offer, and we told them to stuff it. Well, in a way, told them to stuff it, basically ratted them out. And we also met a Stellarite Inquisitor on the maximum security prison, which was then annihilated by the Raiders in a past episode. So the Lost Legion, you have been advised, you've got access to quite a bit of material now, because the night speakers are starting to reel you in. They've given you the idea, which is the Stellarites are kind of hiding their battle cruiser by putting it on orbit of a star quite close to the star itself. So the Lost Legion has been tracking them for one reason or another. Maybe it will become clear soon. And they are aware when the Stellarite battlecruiser Way of Light, which is understood to be their headquarters in the sector, because they don't have a lot of assets around here. They don't have planetary areas that they control. They have a battlecruiser and then some people. The battlecruiser Way of Light is going to move in from a jump gate to a new star, and the Lost Legion plans to ambush them before they get to in orbit of a star. Basically, ambush in deep space by the Lost Legion. The Lost Legion are going to bring their dreadnought, the Ascension, on this mission. And to give us some sort of a scale for this, what we're talking about, the Way of Light, the Stellarite battlecruiser, Star Destroyer. Ascension, the Lost Legion dreadnought, Super Star Destroyer. So the dreadnought is bigger than the battlecruiser, and but like when you get to that sort of scale, like distinctions become less meaningful in general, because they already pack so much on those ships that it's at that sort of scale. Everyone, it's a knife fight. Like it could go either way, really. Right. So the reason that the Lost Legion are going to ambush the Way of Light is that they want to board it. They want to immobilize it. They want to board it, and they want to grab their high priestess Alana, who is a noble. You understand, of noble birth, and the Lost Legion want to basically abduct her and then get out. And you are involved in this because one of the night speakers, called Oinrai, I'll put a picture up, you will be aware of this guy. So Oinrai is you sort of hired out to the Lost Legion and working for the Lost Legion, and you would be with Oinrai on this mission. As the Lost Legion boards the Way of Light, you go in with Oinrai, and you kind of can act on two different things here. You could act on what the Lost Legion is there to do, which they will also pursue, which is get the High Priestess, get out. The second option, which is of more importance and interest to the Night Speakers, is getting an artifact, a relic from the Stellarites. The Stellarites call it the Scourge of Penitence. You understand it to be an orb, like a handheld large sphere of ancient make. But the Night Speakers call it the Void Sphere, and this is the reason why the Night Speakers are actually going all in on this. Well, I say all in on, they're not bringing everyone, but they're bringing you, and they're trying to make a go of it because they now have access to, they have a window into the Stellarite battlecruiser to steal this orb, this artifact, while this other thing is happening. And yeah, so that is the plan. You will be on board the Way of Light with Oinrai, and your main objective would be to get the Void Sphere, also known as the Scourge of Penitence. And then if you wanted to do something else, that is entirely up to you.
There's a lot of variables in this situation.
Yeah, it seems like
there's a lot of
there's a lot of math on the table.
Like after about 3 red flags, my whole dash just lit up. Like there's just so much going on here, and I like it. Someone's out to screw us, obviously. But we should take bold and decisive action.
I agree.
So I say we betray the Night Speakers. Side with the Lost
I disagree.
Legion. Do the unexpected.
Side with the Stellarites.
Side with the Stellarites.
I strongly disagree.
Do we have any connection or knowledge of this person that the bounty's for? Like the actual...
The High Priestess, Alana.
Like, do we actually know anything?
You could make a roll to gather information. But off the top of your head, Stellarite High Priestess, noble birth.
But she's not our goal, really. She's not our problem. Are we actually going to be handling this orb, or are we just helping the dude get it? Are we just escorting him to get
it? Basically, you're sort of like Night Speaker initiates, sort of on trial.
We're like an honor guard.
Yeah, I assume we're there in a support role.
Yeah, presumably, like Oinrai will be able to do a bunch of stuff on his own.
You know what?
However,
rhymes with support role? High load.
I tell you what rhymes with support load. High load with an additional 1 load because of that advancement we bought last mission.
What about that?
Yeah, boy.
7 items.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting. I can feel a disturbance in the way.
Was there a thing that you get like cheaper armor as well in that? I don't remember how it works, but I distinctly remember that you got armor
we get like the extra sort of like customized armor with like our Cerberus like logos on it and stuff. Let me just have a look.
Free.
Yeah, we have distinctive and high quality armor. When we wear armor, it counts as heavy, so you get 2 uses.
Right. Yeah. So you only need to mark 1 box, and it counts as 2.
We're taking armor this time. We're going.
heavy load, 7 load, heavy armor, guns.
Detonator.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm guessing we're going for an assault. Maybe.
Depends what you want to do.
It certainly sounds like it.
The Lost Legion they selected assault as their plan.
Just so I'm clear, who's put the illegal bounty to capture the Stellarite?
The Lost Legion, they basically want the Night Speakers to help them, which Oinrai already is, to get the Stellarite High Priestess. However, the Night Speakers want you and Oinrai to get on board, get the sphere, and then get out. The Night Speakers have this one objective, the Lost Legion have this other one.
So Lost Legion will be on the ship getting this stellarite.
Oh yeah, they will
From-
board the ship and then they will try and get the High Priestess.
So we're working with two factions at the same time.
Yes, it's sort of like the Night Speakers are there to help the Lost Legion and also steal something on the side.
See, I'm not saying I'm paranoid, Zenith, but how public will this illegal bounty be? Do you reckon?
I would hazard a guess, Viper, that given the fact that the mission involves a dreadnought attacking a super destroyer, it's going to be fairly well. It's not going to be low key. Let's put it that way.
I'm not looking at your hands when I say this, but knowing my family like I do, right? And I know my brother really well, like you know,
Like a brother.
like a brother, yeah, like with the same person. I get the I, like if I was gonna screw me over, I would. This is what I'd do. I'd show up here now. For this is where things would sandwich me between two rocks and hard place. Two hard place. Sandwich me between two difficult factions.
Mm-hmm.
There's something. So many unknowns here.
Don't know what you're complaining about. My whole family, you pretty much think I'm dead, or a military family.
The Lost Legion isn't connected to your family.
Let our backgrounds combine.
Men's. Is your family connected to the Lost Legion?
I don't believe they have any overt connection, but obviously I've not exactly been keeping in touch with them for like the last umpteen years. I've been laying low, so.
However, they I think when we talked about your background, I think they kind of either they were in cahoots or being influenced by the Stellarite Church because you were almost whacked.
Yeah.
And that was because you got your
Yeah,
the way awakened.
Because the Stellarites are all like anti-way users, and my family have like drank heavily from that fountain of Kool-Aid.
Well, you certainly went a different way.
I walk my own path, Viper.
And I'm there with you, buddy. I'd really like to hear what Rashishi thinks about this plan. I mean, I can fly us out of anything.
She was kind of eating cake, but that's okay.
Probably trying to distract herself from all the tomfoolery me and Viper are concocting.
Pretty much.
She's put a bounty on your head, Zenith, and she's gonna collect.
Johannes, I was going to ask, would it be okay if I changed the trauma that I got at the end of last session from paranoid to obsessed?
Yes.
Let's see.
What are we obsessed with?
Actually, no, do you know what? Soft probably fits the character more.
Yeah. Soft is good. And it's also, we don't have that yet. Because we have that.
I ain't soft.
Yeah, we have like a Reckless Club over here.
Oh, hang on, that's giving me 2. I still can't get the hang of this roll 20 thing, but anyway, it's sorted now. I think the plan sounds somewhat foolish, but these are my 2 best mates, and they think it's a good idea. And pretty much all I have to do is run in behind them and then sew them back together at the end. And that's pretty much what I do, anyway.
Well, it depends how we want to approach it. I mean, obviously, we know we're going in with Owen Rye. We know what the Night Speakers want, which I think we should focus on that. Let the Lost Legion do what they want to do. Let them get on with that. Because everyone's going to be distracted with what they're doing. So we could potentially do it as like a deception thing. Because obviously, we don't have to rumble in with like the giant dreadnought. And presumably if like our ship's like stealthing in, they're not going to be like, oh look, I know there's this huge dreadnought bearing down and there's like the planet killer lasers, but there's this little ship over here. So we could try and like sneak on board and do our thing while they're distracted by the fact there's a huge like Lost Legion bearing down and like pulse rifles and whatever.
Yes, so we let the dreadnought cause a distraction.
And we slip in through the back door. Just thumb ourselves in.
Yeah.
Thing is, this is like the first time where we're not in control of what's going on here. We're sort of playing to the Night Talker's tune.
Well, the thing is, I mean, obviously Owen Rye's mainly concerned with getting on board, getting hold of this void sphere. So I think if we sort of broach the idea to him, he comes on our ship, we wait for the dreadnought to make its presence known. We sort of board the ship out. I mean, obviously this depends on what sort of intelligence he's got about the void sphere. Because if he knows where it is on board, or more likely, because he's a night speaker, he can sense it. We can effectively try and get on board their ship, sort of like grapple on, burn our way through the hull or whatever, as near as we, or find a. Because I don't know if we can burn our way through the hull, but because I imagine it's pretty hefty.
Will you not be able to sense this thing?
Well, I can, but I'm guessing Owen Rye is, given the fact that he's an actual full night speaker, is far more proficient with the way than me. Now, if he says to me like, "Oh, I can't sense anything," I'm happy to give it a go myself, but I'm guessing he's far more skilled than I am, being a mere initiate. But yeah, we could try. I mean, we could go for the assault. You know, we could just rumble in alongside the dreadnought and just like guns blazing, like kick ass and take names, and just fight our way through the ship until we find the.
What are the options again? What are the
assault, deception, infiltration, mystic, social, or transport? Obviously, social and transport aren't applicable. Infiltration, I think that might be a difficult one to pull off. Mystic, possibly, because it's a way artifact. Deception, try to like trick our way on board, like use a distraction. Or assault, go in like.
assault seems the obvious one here, but like
Deception does seem more our type. Plus, we are like trying to skulk in the back door, you know.
do we play nice with the Lost Legion in this case? Do we tell them that we're like going to be on this mission?
Well, I'm assuming that. I mean, Johannes, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming that, given the fact that night speakers are sort of working with the Lost Legion, they're aware that the night speakers are going to be on board.
Yeah. The Owen Rye is explicitly working for them, like contracted to help them.
Right. Okay.
So I think first of all,
I just want like a badge that says "Don't shoot the subcontractor." You know, like.
well, I'm sure they'll be made
Got
aware
very
of the fact.
distinctive armour. We can make sure their crew know what our armour
That's
is.
good and bad.
I tell you what as well.
Because it also means the other guys are going to know that we're not with them.
I've had a better idea. You know, run about patches with like 3 dogs' heads on. Better idea. We should just have like our space helmet should be like dogs' heads, like motorcycle helmets style. Because there's 3 of us.
Obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, like I say, distinctive armour. They'll know that they'll presumably be informed that we're working for the night.
Serious
speakers.
question: do we get the space trikes out for this one?
I think possibly not, because we're going to be on board a ship. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to
I
trike it
hear
up and
that
race through the
Doesn't
ship,
necessarily exclude the use of space strikes.
Assault with style. That's what I'm thinking. Speed is our ally here.
I think first things first, we have to like check with Owen Rye and find out like what information he's got about this void sphere.
I think,
please
like,
tell me the void speed is not going to be some 3,000-year-old mastiff that like gets loose and starts eating the crew.
A spherical mastiff.
That was a joke.
Oh my god, it's rolling towards us. It's rolling.
Your reaction did not help me.
So bouncy.
Yeah, so this particular type of ship, how wide are the corridors, generally speaking?
I'm gonna say 4 people.
So
Wide?
just wide enough to fit one of these bikes. And
Yeah,
run
if you
over
wanted
anybody
to.
that's along there.
So we have
We
Mashishi
don't
ride
need
one
a
of the
bike.
bikes. We have Mashishi ride one of the bikes. We have like me and Viper like stood on the back plate. It's like.
Yeah. Can you fly
Yeah.
yet? Is that like a weird thing? You know.
Flying is not a way thing.
I've seen you like leap through the air. I've seen you create a blade out of nothing. I've seen you convince a guy he doesn't believe in his own mother. Like,
The way can be used to bend the minds of the weak, and it allows me certain lenience when it comes to natural laws. It does not allow me to shatter them.
sound that good then.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. I think. I think it's actually all right. Wait, what?
He's the Cerberus's bollocks, is what that is.
So like I say, first of all, can we chat with Owen Rye to find out what information he can give us on this void sphere?
All the data.
Or if he's not available, like what information can the night speakers give us on it? Including like if they've got any information about the location of it on board the Way of Light.
They speculate that it's highly likely that it's going to be in an onboard temple or shrine of some kind, because the Stellarites treat it as a religious artifact, the scourge of penitence. They use it actively. The night speakers think that the Stellarites don't know what the actual usage of it is, but they use it to castigate heretics so that they will repent and see the light. And there's a picture.
Can they tell us what, if they're saying, oh, this isn't the true purpose of the device, what is the true purpose of the device?
That is not for you to know right now. The true purpose is hidden to everyone except adepts or above of the night speakers.
Okay.
Ranks being initiate, adept, master.
Okay, so we don't know exactly where it is, but we know it's in a temple, so it's probably going to be a prominent and sort of like well-known place on board because it's a temple. Oh, that doesn't look ominous at all. So we basically have two choices. We either try and sneak our way on board using the combat as cover, some fancy flying off Viper. We get on board, we try and find the temple and the sphere, or we go for like the full assault option, strap our guns on, go in there, kick ass and take names. I am happy with either of those plans.
Why aren't we asking the bigger question? Why do the Stellarites have this thing?
That's an interesting question, if
they want
only
with it?
because the Stellarites don't like the way,
Exactly.
and they don't like any fucking artifacts. No, none of this mystical bullshit. They don't like any of it.
So get this then, if pop quiz, right? Why would the Stellarites have an artifact on the ship? Is it A, because they've suddenly had a change of heart?
Unlikely.
Or is it B, that it's actually incredibly dangerous and then they're aware that it needs to be moved for safety?
Well, the night speakers have made it clear to us that the Stellarites do not understand the true nature of the artifact. Therefore, they presumably see it as something they can simply use, and it provides a benefit to them. Obviously, it is dangerous because they use it to castigate heretics and the like.
I haven't forgot that temple we went to and then he got eaten by a giant worm. I'm telling you, man, the night chatters are holding out on us.
They explicitly are. They will tell you that. We're not telling you what the void sphere does.
On multiple fronts, they're holding out on us here. I just don't want anything to happen to you, man. I know you really swallow the Kool-Aid here, but just be careful, all right?
I'm always careful.
You've kind of got a bit reckless recently, but
which plan would the two of you prefer? I'm happy with trying to sneak on board. I'm also happy with the frontal assault. You're the one likely to be doing the piloting to get us to the ship.
Mm-hmm. I'll be skulking about, don't you worry. On a scale of like 1 to terrible, how bad are the Stellarites? Like, are they seriously bad dudes? Can we go up against them? What's their kind of like strength? Like, what do we know about them in terms of their ability to fight?
Are you asking
You,
The
yeah,
game?
sorry, yeah. Like, what do I know about them as in terms of their combat? I've been in, I'm from, I used to be in the Legion, so I know.
Yeah,
I
give
do
us
lot
a
of
roll.
Ooh, I'm gonna skulk my way to the information.
I will sneak in an alley and thereby gain information.
Study. I'll attempt to hack. What I'll try to do. I'll see if I can get some sort of idea of what will be on that ship, like in terms of like soldiers and mechs or something that would stand out. We have to deal with because it's going to be protected.
Also, if you find a map that has an area labelled temple on it, that would be handy.
That also makes me weird out that they have a temple. It's not just carrying in the artifact. There's a temple there.
The Stellarites are a religious order. Of course, they have a temple.
Yeah, but they're keeping the artifact in a temple.
Well, if you believed an item was precious and was very useful to your religious order, where else would you keep it?
But that's not. The point is that they hate this stuff. So why would they sacrilege their own sort of sacred ground with these things? You see what I'm saying?
That's also a thing you could roll for, if you wanted to.
I will. I'll do that next. Is this a control, risky, or desperate situation? In this case, I'm just.
Let's go with risky.
Risky. Okay. Hunt standard effect still.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna punt it in. Nope.
Okay. So
That's ominous.
So basically, what you end up with is like a Stellarite homepage on the interweb, which that's about as much as you can come up with. Basically, they you can figure that they are a religious order, which is to say that they are called a cult. Officially, these things are called cults in the hegemony.
Yeah.
And they are explicitly sanctioned by the hegemon. So what that means is they basically have a writ somewhere from the hegemon, which basically says they can do anything because they are officially sanctioned cult.
Do anything they want.
Yeah. That doesn't translate all that well into reality every time. Like if they roll up on a planet and they're like, you all serve us now because we have this, it's not going to go well for them. But they're able to get around a lot of official and a lot of authorities because they have this writ, which basically says like, yeah, these guys have sanction, so don't mess with them. So yeah, they have official status. They are legit, and they really do not like the way. They think all precursor artifacts the worst thing in the world. Both of these things corrupt everyone who comes into touch with them, and they think that the light of stars is spiritually the most valuable thing. So you find like a space YouTube video channel where there's like a whole thing of like, this is how to meditate in the light of the holy stars. So like meditation in sunlight and all that, kind of like sun worship thing. Yeah, that's what you come up with. They do not represent themselves as a military order at all, but that's just their homepage. So
but they kind of are. Okay.
So the repercussions of that. Unless you want to resist it, I'm just gonna put 2 ticks on, because now we have a new thing here. We have the death clock. So I'm gonna put 2 ticks on the 8-segment death clock, unless you resist that. It's just the passage of time. When that clock fills, someone's gonna kick in the door and be like, "Where's my money, Han Solo?"
I'm gonna let it happen. I'm not worrying about the debt right now. I'm worried about this
the
mission.
Conjure Club is gonna come calling.
I'm also gonna speak to a night chatter about the other thing I was curious about is
Mhm.
why they have an artifact in a temple when they hate them. They hate these things so much.
Mm-hmm.
Please explain to me why.
Yep.
I think I have a right to know.
Yep. Sorry, did you resist the consequence?
No, I'll
Okay.
take the 2 ticks. I'm
Yeah,
going to take it
good.
like a man because I could be dead in like the next day.
Yep.
Can't claim money back from the dead. Although, if this device is like, oh, your soul is now trapped in the sphere and you will live forevermore, then maybe I will pay.
Yeah, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Zenith's a great guy. He knows how to play a mean game of tarot, but his weakness is weird stuff. Can't say, look how protecting for himself sometimes. So I'm going to talk to a night guy.
Mhm.
We use sway. I'm going to try and sway them into like, because I'm not asking about the artifact itself. I'm just asking like why they,
Yeah,
what's the
why do
deal?
they want this?
Yeah, is that a risky situation? Or am I desperate? By
Yeah, risky. Yeah,
information, standard effect still.
yeah,
Let's just get the bad rolls out of the way. Come on, boom.
yeah.
Get that.
So you do it with a consequence, which is going to be 2 more ticks on your death clock.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Good, good. Just cranking that debt.
Come.
Okay, yeah. So I think you get it from Doram, this guy, who you understand to be at least one of the very top masters of the order.
Yeah.
Because
He actually deigns to speak to me for a bit.
yeah, yeah. And you
I reckon I just like he's like probably having a meal or something, or he's like talking to like some of his like students or things. I just
Mhm.
sort of sit down and be like, "What up, Durham? I
You're
need
like,
to
hey man.
chat to you."
Oh my God.
So this mish.
Yeah.
I offer him a smoke as well. See if he smokes. You never know.
He's going to take it. He's not going to use it, but he will take the smoke.
Pretty rare those.
So Doram doesn't go into great detail, but he very heavily hints at the fact that not only did Alana, the High Priestess, used to be a heretic herself before, she is actually a mystic in her own right. She
Knew
uses
it.
the way.
I'm thinking this is like a rogue faction. That's what was my Vipers thing. It's like a rogue part of the Stellarites we're dealing with, which means they're even more dangerous.
They're loose cannon.
They're loose cannons. They're reckless.
They don't play by the book.
Exactly, because if we tick them off, that means they're going to come for us, and they're not going to be,
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah,
going to
so
stick to
that's
the
what you get
rules.
from Doram.
Uh,
The fact that Alana, according to Doram, used to be a heretic and is actively a way user.
so does she know how to use this artifact? I'll ask him. Like, because I mean, I don't know what it does, but like that's
Yes, blatantly yes, because they use it to castigate heretics. Doram explains that as some sort of a shriveling
my
of the
entire face
spirits.
just like
What's
everything
that
I'm
you
finding
say,
out.
Viper? Religious people being hypocritical?
Cool.
No,
What?
not possible. Surely.
Never.
Never.
It's not possible.
Oh. Oh, wonderful. Nothing I've discovered has eased my worry.
We're going
Yeah,
on a mission for a secret cult of way users to infiltrate the large destroyer class ship of a bunch of religious fanatics, accompanied by the dreadnought of a huge ex-legion. What were you expecting to find that would ease your mind?
Just can't paint a happy picture, can you? I just want a simple mission, just like a milk run, man. We've had I thought these guys would give us the good stuff, not this. Like.
We go where
See, the problem with having a good reputation is that people don't tend to give you the milk runs. if they know you're capable of doing stuff,
We go where the
they're
way
not going to
leads
let you
us.
slack off, are they?
It's true. Just promise me you're going to come back from this one, Zenith. You're not going to become sort of some waste stain on the hull.
I will do my best. I cannot make promises since I do not know what will happen on this mission.
I think we should go assault. I don't think we can trick these guys. Not if they're way users as well. Our best weapon is you. In these sort of situations of deception, you're our main guy. If they're as talented in the way as you are, at least, then that's not gonna fly too well, is it?
It will certainly be challenging.
It's a bit punchy.
So are we agreed then we plan for an assault?
It certainly looks that way, doesn't it?
Then I suggest we get our gear and make ourselves ready. Punch it, Viper.
Push it to the limit. I'm glad we repaired the ship.
And I believe we've got that funky armour that counts as double armour but only uses one slot.
Yep. Yeah, that is correct. And it has your merchandising logos on it and everything.
Can we say that the communicators like built into the helmets as well? Like we can tick them off.
Yeah. It'll take you one slot though, but yeah.
Do you guys want me to stay on the ship in this? I'm not scared. I'm just saying, do you want me to stay on the ship for this one, for the extraction?
I believe we'll need all of us in the search for this sphere.
My funky armour, I want it to have the word medic written across the chest.
It's like a big red cross on the shoulder.
So it can be recognisable medical garb.
Yep.
Should I need that?
And you probably have a very good, like a relieved idea of that, because these people are an official cult of the hegemon, and the hegemony puts out the information that you don't shoot doctors. Like it's the jail for you forever if you shoot doctors, and you have the official thing to signify that look at this, like I've got the thing. Yeah. Wee woo. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, that's a great idea, because you have official protection from violence.
Yeah, quality.
Some say you might be getting soft there. I'm sure the armor's got extra padding.
Some might.
Very well, and so I believe our plan, and obviously feel free to chip in, is that when the dreadnought commences its assault, we're going to sort of use the dreadnought as cover, join the assault, and when they sort of do their boarding action and everyone's occupied with that, we're going to sort of launch our own mini boarding action, and hopefully the vast majority of their forces will be distracted by the Lost Legion attacking them, and we can fight our way through to wherever this temple is and retrieve the sphere.
Yep, that sounds great. Okay.
It doesn't sound great. I'm under no illusions.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we are in the halt system. We were here previously on Sonhandra, which is the place where we did the burial ritual, which one half is always day, one half is always night. There's also two other planets in the system that are inhabited and of significance. One is Mem, which is the local Xeno home planet, which the hegemony has colonized. The Mem are the aquatic people. And Voss is a sort of rich people's haven. A lot of expensive crystalline things on that planet, and a lot of rich folk living there. Yeah, so the way of life.
Just fuck all this off and go and rob the rich place.
Yeah, that's also a thing you could do. Just like go in there and it's like, wait a minute, like those people live right over there.
No. Back to the assault missions.
Yep. So we are in the halt system, and you're there with the Lost Legion, Dreadnought, the Ascension, and you're waiting for the Way of Light to come in from the jump gate. And the plan is then to wait for it to get well into the system, but not actually to where they want to orbit the star, and then ambush it, incapacitate it or immobilize it somehow, and then board it anyway, even if they can't stop it, and then put enough boots on the deck to get the High Priestess, and then take the High Priestess off and on to the Ascension, and then get out. So that's the Lost Legion battle plan. And you guys are in there. Is Oinrai with you? Is Oinrai with the Lost Legion?
I mean, obviously the final decision is up to Owen Rye, but presumably if he's after the sphere as well, then presumably he'll be with us.
Yep. So he can be with you, and so your plan is to wait and then have the Ascension engage the Way of Light, and then when that's going on, you find your own entrance and then make your way from there.
Pretty much.
Okay. Fantabulous. Let's get some rolls done. Let me find the bit for engagement. So it is an assault, I believe. Right? Okay. And
Yep.
where are you going in? The point of attack. Which part of this battle cruiser are you going in through?
Well, I'd assume that we're going to try and use whatever hole the Lost Legion can punch in, because obviously they've got unless, I mean, obviously I don't know, I mean, if it's a standard model ship, unless we think there's an area where like we could get onto the ship elsewhere while they're distracted with the Lost Legion. If not, then we'll probably try and use the hole they've made.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Like if you have a plan of flying through some critical ducts, maybe, which were built in by a devious trader, that's an option. If you want to get on the battle cruiser and carve your own way in somehow, that's also an option.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we'll try and do is we'll probably try and find a way onto the ship that's a little bit away from where the Lost Legion are going in, because then hopefully that'll pull a lot of the Stellarite forces to deal with the Lost Legion, and we'll hopefully like face less resistance while we're trying to make our way to wherever this temple is. But obviously once we get on board, we're gonna have to try and like hack or otherwise use one of their systems to like find a map of the place and locate where the temple is, so we can't just like be running through the ship and hope we bump into it.
Yep. Okay, so let's get an engagement roll going. We start with 1 dice or die. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Yeah, by default, I would say. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? It's contingent on many factors, I believe, but there's some discussion there.
I wouldn't say it was contingent on many factors, because basically we just sort of like it's contingent on one factor, which is the Lost Legion attack.
Yeah. I guess the operation itself, it's not. It's go in, get the thing, get out.
Yeah, it's not a massively complicated plan. I mean, I'm sure complications will occur, but the plan itself is fairly simple. Get on board, get the shit, get out.
Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I would say yes, because you're explicitly using the distraction of the Lost Legion boarding action. So that's that. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular? Yeah, they have defenses. So that's -1, so we're down to 2. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
I'm going to see, I mean, I've not used this before, but I'm going to see if I can contact Horrocks, who is my former teacher who taught me about the way. And basically, I want to see if he knows anything about the sort of Stellarites, potentially this artifact as well, but mainly does he know anything about the Stellarites and like where they're likely to have their temple on this ship.
I think maybe Horrocks is one of those people who got away from the Stellarites at some point. So he was on board their ship or something. So he can give you the sort of rough idea of the temple being quite close to the bridge itself. And there's a distance to be made between the temple and places that would be feasible to get in from. So there's a
So
bunch of
it's like in
modules.
the center, and we've
Yeah.
got to go through from the
Yeah.
outside. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so there's at least a
What
couple
if we
of.
just crash the Cerberus like straight through the windscreen of their bridge?
I'm not going to lie, that was also occurring to me.
You could just
like,
ride it in.
Pile drive the Cerberus straight into the bridge.
But it would utterly fuck over those guys, which is all good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it would mess them up.
Viper, I mean, we've got shields now. I mean, Viper, the Cerberus is your baby. You do most of the piloting. What do you think to the plan of just like reaming the Cerberus through their like bridge view screen? Because apparently the temple, according to my teacher Horrocks, the temple is likely to be near the bridge.
It's a bit of a Hail Mary. Why does it have to be a ship? Why can't it be something else?
Get back into the ship and take this fucking artifact elsewhere afterwards.
The only problem is if we do crash into the bridge, obviously we're liable to become something of a high priority target for them.
Perhaps.
I don't know a lot about Stellarites, but I'm assuming that most ships' crews, if another ship reamed itself into their bridge, they'd want to deal with that pretty quick smart.
So we're agreed. We'll maybe go a bit further back than the bridge.
Oh no, I'm reckless. Let's crash it into the ship.
No. Let's not wreck the ship.
No.
Then we can just
Reckless is not stupid.
Pop the top off and be like,
we do need an escape route here. Otherwise, all we do is smash up one of their ships and a load of their people come and take that artifact and go and do other hideous shit with it.
Also, forgetting the bridge will be heavily defended with defense turrets, shields.
I will point out that obviously I'm fully supporting the reckless. Yes, let's crash the ship into their bridge, and I will point out that I did not suggest this plan.
It's a bold
idle thought.
And I think it's a great thought. Let's go for it. Let's smash the ship in through their bridge, kick the doors open, come out Kanja Club style with the guns. Everyone on the bridge. We fight our way through the bridge to the temple. We grab the artifact. We get into the ship. Viper throws it into reverse using the thrusters. We pull out. We fly off. Anyone who's still there will be sucked out into space as their hull's breached.
She's a delicate machine. She's not built for that kind of abuse.
She's not a delicate machine. She's a three-headed hound from the depths of Hades.
Like a mad dog.
Spot.
Indeed, I have every confidence in your ability to pull this off, Viper. I've seen you thread the needle through a raid of fleet and escape virtually unscathed, whilst with no weapons and towing a garbage scow behind you. With those piloting skills, how could we possibly fail?
Yeah, but a good pilot doesn't crash into other ships.
I'm not talking about crashing. I'm talking about a battering ram combined with a boarding action. So what we do is
that seems like a very, elaborate way of saying crashing into a ship.
What we do is we put all the power into the front shields. We maybe do a bit of weld some extra ablative armor plates onto the front of the ship to turn it into a bit of a battering ram. Then once you've got the sphere and we're on board, you hit the retro thrusters. You pull us out. Anyone who's in there trying to take on the ship will be sucked out into space. We sail off into the distance.
I like the idea in principle. I just don't want it to be our ship.
Okay. This is an excellent plan for another time.
No, I've got it.
However...
No, I've got it. Viper, you are absolutely right. We don't use the ship. We've got grappling hooks. We tow a small asteroid. When we get near to their ship, we smash the asteroid into their bridge. We can then effectively just like park the ship in the hole it's made. Anyone who's in there will be sucked out into space before we get in there. We hit the mag boots as we come out, take on a few stragglers who've survived, get to the temple, get back to the ship, off we go.
How do we people deal with the void of space?
Well, that's why we put like our breathers on and our.
No, I'm. I mean, if these people are, have way abilities, then do they have any way of getting around?
We know that one of them has a way ability. Has way abilities.
There's always more than one.
Way. That's racist. Way abilities. Way abilities are not ubiquitous to the Stellarites. In fact, most of them actively spurn the use of the way. So it is highly unlikely that there were, unless Alana has taught other people, in which case they will only be low level. And I, as far as these things go, I am not a mere novice, but I could not survive for long in the vacuum of space, even if I used all of my way abilities. And I do not believe they would be able to either. And certainly they're not going to have taught all their bridge crew how to use the way. I'm not even sure that's possible. You must have a natural attunement to the way to be able to use it.
I honestly don't know enough about the way to know if you're bullshitting me here or not, Zenith.
I am not bullshitting you, Viper.
I'm just saying, man. I like the asteroid idea. I do. I just don't like the part that
I
comes
think I
after the asteroid.
prefer the plan where we find a dock on the side of the ship. I'm sorry for even musing for a moment about this.
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to apologise, Mushishi. It's an excellent plan.
Let's return to the plan where we dock on the side of the ship, and we don't draw masses of attention to ourselves, thus negating the entire fucking diversion.
Well, no, because
the plan.
The thing is, if we do this after the dreadnought is attacked, presumably most of their people will not be on the bridge. They will be dealing with the Lost Legion attack. And one thing I can guarantee you without using my way abilities is that none of them will be expecting a large asteroid to smash through their bridge. It has the advantage of surprise.
It is. It does introduce a lot of like extra complications, but I do like it.
How is the space around there for asteroids?
Yeah, you could definitely find some. You can always find rocks in space.
Do we put detonators inside the asteroid? Do we go the whole way, or we just go?
We might as well, if we're going to do it. Let's do it right.
I would say we don't put detonators in the asteroid. However, once we've crashed the asteroid into their bridge, when we park the ship alongside, we don't want to throw a couple of detonators into the room before we go in there. That would certainly help disorientate them.
I feel I should point out, Zenith, is we're not doing this on our own. We're going to have one of the night speakers with us. This is probably a test for your future career advancement. I don't know. I don't know what they'll think of this ball plan.
Well, I would like to think that I would
like. We selected them for their great track record of their finesse and their clean approach to these missions.
I would like to think that us demonstrating our willingness to do whatever is necessary to achieve our goals will be laudable.
It's certainly, yeah.
And I would point out that if they have hired us and they have made any attempt to look into our previous track record, then they will have not hired us for our subtlety and finesse.
I don't know. We haven't made a mess much, have we?
Perhaps not.
I've got away with a lot more than there's a lot of things that other people don't know about. We know that we fucked up, but we managed to make it look like we didn't.
It's all how you spin it.
Perhaps we've not caused any messes, as you call them, but neither would I describe our operations as particularly subtle.
So we get asteroid, smash it into the bridge.
However, if if the two of you would prefer to find a way to to land on one of their docking bays, that's fine.
I think we should do both. So the asteroid is a diversion. We then coming through the docking thing. They'll be so distracted, like trying to deal with the kind of fallout from that.
Yeah, I've got no issue with dropping an asteroid on their bridge while we're on our way to one of the other entrances. Again, it will draw people away from there.
Agreed.
It will cause chaos on their ship.
Communication breakdown.
Agreed. Let's do it.
Okay, so the plan is Viper is
How
going
you
to
gonna do
tow
this?
an asteroid, and you're going to bomb the bridge, and then what?
Yeah, in the chaos and confusion of that, we're going to land at the sort of nearest docking bay. Hopefully, with the Lost Legion attacking there, an asteroid hitting their bridge there, which presumably they'll assume is part of the attack. That'll be two different directions the defenders of the ship will be pulled in. So hopefully that'll even further minimise the opposition we're going to face as we go to the temple.
We hit the head of the snake, cause some confusion.
Because if they think it's all part of the Lost Legion attack, presumably they're not going to think, oh, the Lost Legion's attacking, they must be going for the temple. Because that's not their normal style. So we can then fight our way through the temple through hopefully minimal opposition, grab the sphere, and do one.
Yep.
So to go with the whole head of the snake analogy, the Lost Legion have like stabbed the snake in the tail. We're going to kick it in the head, and then we're going for the stomach.
See, I agree with I'm aware of the ancient proverb involving cutting off the head of the snake. However, there's an even older saying that says if you can't cut off the head of the snake, bludgeon it to death with a big fucking rock. Correct.
So, for the engagement roll, we are at 3 dice because Horrocks is able to help you with this. No, any other stuff? Yeah, they're a higher tier target, so -1. So 2 dice.
Okay.
Fortune roll, anyone?
Who wants to roll it?
John, it's your plan.
I think it should be you, John. This is the half to the void sphere. Void sphere.
It's a 4.
All right, so we are in a risky position when we start. And we're going to start with you asteroid bombing the bridge.
Yes!
Okay, so we are in the halt system. The Way of Light has jumped in. It's been, for a couple of hours now, it's been blasting through the deep space. And the Ascension has just lit its drives. It's going in for the attack vector. And they're exchanging fire, just like these giant flashes of light.
So the way I'm seeing it is if we've got like the Ascension coming in here, we've got the Way of Light here, and they're sort of going towards each other. We sort of want to come in like that. Then with the asteroid behind us, then at the last minute we're going to sort of veer off, let the momentum carry the asteroid into the bridge, and we'll then sort of skim along it and find the docking bay.
Yep. So you're coming down, your grappling hooks attached to an asteroid, and now, Viper, now is the hour
Now is the hour.
that we draw asteroids together.
So this is obviously me firing the asteroids or pivoting them into the ship, right?
Yeah, this is you trying to blast the bridge.
So here's the thing. My skill right at the bottom here says says you sharp eyes, note small details, and when you overlook it, you get 1 dice from firing the ship guns or making trick shots. Now I feel like this does count as a trick shot.
Yeah, it's a trick shot. It's
This is a trick shot.
And it is also
Great success. Okay.
It's gonna be just starting out. It's gonna be a 0 effect. They have fucking point defense turrets.
Yeah.
They have shields. They have everything. But you can increase that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have gambits here. We have 2 of them.
Yep.
And you also have access to pushing yourself. You can take a devil's bargain.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so but what's the position? Is it desperate to start
Position
with?
is risky because of
Risky.
your
Okay.
engagement roll just now. The effect, however, is nothing at the minute.
So can I use a gambit to increase the effect?
I will check that.
I think I can.
I don't remember. I would be open to it, though. It seems like it maybe should.
Because I feel like the team would be happy with me using a gambit to smash an asteroid into a bridge. Still alright.
Yeah, it seems like it might be a thing that everyone wants.
Like still alright ship, corner pocket.
Any crew member can spend a gambit during an action roll to add +1 die. Yeah, it's a +1 die, unfortunately.
Okay.
You can push yourself. Do you want to? I think is it mutually exclusive with those as well? If it is, I'm gonna be like one of these things will probably, because it just makes sense for me that you could do more. You could take more risks. That's always a good thing. So let's see, pushing yourself. Okay. Okay, and then so if you push yourself, you get +1 die, or +1 level to your effect. Devils.
So I need to push myself just to get the effect off the ground.
Huh. It seems like you can't get more dice here because it specifically says for Devil's Bargain you can't get dice from both. It's one or the other. Yeah. So you can do both, but they have to be different effects. Seems like. So you could push yourself for a die. You could take a Devil's Gambit to get an extra level of effect, which limited effect is still going to be good on this scale. The scale is important here. So we're talking about a battle cruiser, and you're doing limited effect to it, which is badass on its own.
So what would be the Devil's Gambit in this case?
Devil's Gambit in this case would be that there's an honor guard on board of zealots of the highest caliber, and
sounds reasonable.
They are fully committed. They will fight tooth and nail to repel the boarders.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Devil's Bargain to get the effect, and I'm going to take the Gambit to increase my die once.
Okay.
If that's okay with everyone.
Yep.
This is carefully managing my stress because I've only got that stress track left. That's it.
Yeah, that's what you have.
And I'll need that for later. So it's limited effect.
And risky.
Die. Yeah. Oh, and I get an extra one. So I'm sorry for the trick shot.
Yep.
1d6. I forgot that. Okay. So.
Yep. A 5, which means you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, or you have reduced effect. You end up in a desperate position. I think it's going to be the desperate position here, which you can resist, of course, as always. They are good, like their sensors pick you up.
Yeah, I'm going to resist this. I'm going to try to resist this.
Okay. So roll for maybe prowess.
Prowess, yeah.
Okay, so 2 stress.
Two stress. Okay, I'm still in the game. I'm still
Still good. Still good.
still good.
Okay, so you smash this asteroid
Mhm.
into the bridge, and it shatters. It like breaks off like one side of the bridge module. You see people tumbling into space, and you're very quickly the view disappears because you need to swerve to head
Yeah.
towards the landing base.
Look, the donkey.
Whoop! Swerve and duck and dive. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ship. And
All
we
right,
get to-
so you land your ship on a landing bay.
I've
Was
just
that it?
realised there'll probably be a night speaker just sat on the ship, stood on the ship while I'm doing this.
Yeah. Oindra is on board.
Just watching me impassively chuck an asteroid.
Yeah. Yeah. So Oinrai hasn't said much. He is what I believe they these days call an absolute unit, which is to say he's a big lad,
Yeah.
and not really one for words. Like Doram seems to have that on lock. This guy strikes you as more of a bruiser type figure. So you Viper, do you sit down on a landing pad?
So is this sort of shit where I can dock like on the side, or I can actually go inside?
I think this is literally from Star Wars, where there's a force field and then a landing bay beyond it, and you drive through the force field and you're in the landing bay.
I think that is what I'll go for, because then I can flip the ship around and get
Mhm.
a position ready to take back off.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Unless the team has an issue.
Yep. So you put it down there. The fighters have been scrambled, like it's mostly empty. You can see some text about, but that's it. What do you do? You can see the lights. The warning lights are on. There's the consistent ooh, ooh.
Excellent impression. Fantastic.
Use the ship's guns to shoot the computers. Just to fuck with the computer systems a bit more.
I would suggest not shooting
yeah.
anything while we're in the docking bay. While we're in the docking bay.
Oh, fair enough.
Good, because if
use my blaster on the way out.
If he accidentally shoots what keeps the force field going, we're all going to get sucked out into space.
Right, let's get this done as fast as possible.
Yep. So Oindrai is pressing the ramp button.
Yep.
And it goes down, and you come out
Heavy blaster.
looking like a million credits with the dry ice fog and everything. Yeah, there's not a lot in the landing bay because they used to be fighters, but they're all outside now. So there's a bunch of techs just like running back and forth with some like bundles of cable and some hoses and whatnot. And they're just like slowly starting to pick up the. Wait a minute, these guys aren't ours.
These guys are wearing distinctive armor. I'm assuming we'd have had a chance to find.
To fuel it up and keep walking.
No, I was going to say I've got an idea, but I'm assuming it all depends on, does Orin Rai know where the temple is? Because if Orin Rai knows where it is, we'll just follow him. But if he doesn't, we obviously need to find out.
I think this is the first issue whereby the techs figure out, wait a minute, those uniforms aren't ours. And then like Oinrai is spurred into movement. He moves really quick. There's the of
I'm just going to say in a very quiet voice, I'm going to say, don't kill all of them, we need to know where the temple is.
Yeah, he like just bounds forwards and just like smacks these guys. They just go flying. So he slaps them around. They're all like laying this way and that, just like, oh, like, where am I?
I'm going to find one that's still conscious, and I'm basically going to be like, tell us where the temple is. And I'll use a gambit to.
Okay, yeah. So that's. Yeah. He lays it out to you in terms of decks, the corridors, like where to go, and you can figure it out. You go to one of the consoles here. You can pull up a map. No problem. And you figure that you need to. It's a bit of a way away. There's some modules between you and the what's called the Solar Shrine. You're in the landing base right now. There's immediately afterwards. There's the med bay. There's some cells for heretics. There's the crew quarters. There's engineering, maintenance, and then there's the Solar Shrine module. So there's a bunch of modules you need to go through, but
Yeah. So start heading in the direction of the Solar Temple as quickly as we can.
Okay, so I think let's have a roll of some kind. You can obviously assist one another here because we're doing this as a group thing. Roll me something that lets us know how well your travel from the landing bay to the Solar Shrine goes.
Okay, well, if it's okay, I'm going to roll for scrap because we're effectively fighting our way through whoever's about.
Yep.
What's the position? Is it risky or?
The position is, it's risky for now. It will very rapidly become desperate though, but for now it's risky.
6.
6, yeah, you do it. So you bust through a bunch of staff, basically, and you get to where you understand the Solar Shrine is from the information available to you, and it becomes quite apparent because there's a lot more like ornamental lighting that goes on, and also a lot of mirrors to shine the light this way and that. It becomes more ornate as you approach the shrine, and there's like around these sort of light sculptures where there's crystals. Yeah, you get the gambit back. Good call, because I barely remember that. And it's only for the risky rolls as well.
I was going to say I'm going to remember it because I've got a feeling we're going to need them.
Yep. These light sculptures of crystals and mirrors and electric lights. You have these, if you remember from the new Battlestar Galactica, where they have these like memory walls with the pictures and mementos of people. So there's like these votive offerings and pictures around this like weird like ornamental wall art. And you get to the Solar Shrine, and that is where you find what you take to be the High Priestess. I will give you the picture. Boop. So you find this large, round room. It's more of an atrium, really, with you can see somehow, you don't exactly know how, but it seems like it's sort of an open area. It's just like you can look from here to the outside of the ship. Maybe they have like a complex array of screens around the space, but it kind of feels like you're underneath the actual darkness of deep space here. Okay. You can't see the ceiling at all.
Okay, so as we see the High Priest on my communicator, which I've just ticked off, I'm going to signal the Lost Legion and say this is the Cerberus on behalf of the Night Speakers. The High Priestess has been located. I'm going to ping them our location.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You get the acknowledgement from the Lost Legion.
And then I'm going to say to our way-using companion, can he distract the High Priest long enough for us to get the sphere?
Yes, he most certainly can, and he thinks that's the wisest course of action. You try and get the sphere, which the High Priestess, now that you've been approaching, the High Priestess is going for the sphere. You can see there's a guard, and when I say guard, it's multiple people. There's a sort of ceremonial religious guard with what seem to be fairly highly equipped battle sisters led by this individual here, Diana. Power armor, exosuit type figure, religious robes on top. And then you have a handful of these individuals being led by Diana here. You have the high priestess going for the sphere. You have a small crowd of these devotees, basically in their undergarments. Really, they just have the bare minimum clothing on, and yeah, they're also turning around and sort of this. They're going for either like attacking you, and those who are attacking you just like they try to stand in front of the high priestess.
Okay, I'm hoping Rai's going to do his sort of like super speed, and I'm basically waiting for like if he can get to her before she grabs the sphere. I'm going to be there waiting, and as soon as she like turns to deal with him, I'm going to try and use kinetics to grab the sphere.
Yep.
I'm going to cover the mad lad that is Zenith.
Mushishi, any particular plan of action? Are you waiting for someone to get tagged and you have your stitching pistol ready?
Yes, so I'm probably holding my blaster pistol. I'm probably considerably less willing to use it than I would have been previously. And I'm probably kind of having a hard time about all those people that we just beat up and left in need of medical care.
Yeah.
I'm backing these guys up. I'm a lot more skulky than I used to be.
Yep.
So I'm pretty much hanging around behind these two, shooting anything that it looks like it'd be helpful to shoot, and otherwise waiting till somebody gets hurt.
Yep. So Oinrai says to Zenith, this is all like the like let's say like the 10 meters before you actually need to like go in. So Oinrai says, there you know about the night voice, right? Which you do. I think we talked about it a little bit before. The night voice is sort of their signature way power. I'm going to use the night voice against the high priestess in an effort to maybe make her not able to use the sphere on us. If she uses the sphere on us, it might be the eternal void for us. So I will try and use that. That will mean that you will not be able to call on the way either. So
At which point I'm going to say, in which case, let me propel the sphere towards myself. So, like, throw it towards myself, ready to catch it, and then have him use the night voice.
okay. Yeah. It better work.
And I'm basically going to sort of like nudge Viper and direct him to like shoot at the priestess, or at least around her, to sort of like cause her to like duck and distract her. Then I'm going to be like,
Okay. Yeah. Let's go for it. So are you using stress or gambits for
I'm using a gambit.
Okay. Whoop. All right. Yeah, and then let's get a roll going. Now, what would we roll for this? I think there's a bunch of good options for you to be able to get the sphere without the high priestess getting it instead. Do you have any suggestions for which
my default would be
for?
a tune because I'm trying to use the way.
Yeah, the way. Yeah, that's entirely. Yeah. Yep. So that would be. I think now we're on to desperate, and
I'm gonna push myself.
Yep.
So, desperate.
Oh yeah, I've just realized and remembered, Viper. the other way you can raise your effect level is to lower your position.
Right.
So
Okay.
if in the asteroid bombardment you would have rolled desperate
Desperate.
instead of risky, you would have gotten an extra
Right. Okay.
level.
That's
Yeah,
good to
but
know.
I forgot. But,
Double
Fine.
6.
double sixes. You can
Gonna
clear
get
one
you.
stress,
Sweet.
I believe. And you do it. Yeah, so you grab the spear. It goes flying. It like bounces off one of these devotees, and they.
I liked him because I'm vicious. I did that deliberately. I was like, there's no harm in me taking out a couple of them as I'm summoning it to my hand.
Yep. And there's because you rolled double sixes, it's a fairly deep, like bass rumble that goes through the ship, and immediately you're hit with another rumble, which is because of the Lost Legion, and there's a shower of sparks in the corner of the room. Some cables come out from nothingness because it's it's this sort of fake open window into the black of space, and Oinrai jumps in to.
But before he's even landed,
Mhm.
I'm just going to be signaling to them guys, we've got the sphere. Obviously, I know we can't actually run yet because I've taken my turn, but
Mhm.
you
Yep.
know, just like he's going in, we've got this.
So Oinrai goes in, and you can hear absolutely nothing. He's using the night voice, whether you expected to hear some sort of voice or not. There is no voice. However, you and everyone else is in an instant blanketed in just complete darkness. Your eyes just flail you. You don't see anything, and you can also feel like, whoop, yeah, that there there goes gravity, and you start floating in the corridor bit that you were in. So you're currently unable to see anything, and the gravity has just gone away.
Okay.
And you can hear sounds of struggle in the solar shrine.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
At which point, I would like to tick the option for spy gear on my sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to say that it has like one of those sort of like mini grappling hook James Bond style belts.
Yep. Your utility belt?
My plan will be sort of like, because I was turning round to face the direction we were going to go in.
Yep.
My plan is just to like fire that in the direction we want to go, and when it sinks into something, basically start reeling myself towards it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sort of hold it
Viper
up to the
Mushishi.
stair.
You can hear sounds of struggle from the solar shrine, and you can hear this like, and then.
I'll tell them what I'm doing like, on the communicator.
So I mentioned earlier on
Mhm.
looking up the size of the corridors on this ship.
Yep.
I'd like to think that Mushishi's the type of person who likes to be prepared for stuff. I'd like to have a map or chart, which is on my equipment list, of like the basic floor plan of this ship loaded into the helmet of our
Oh, like a heads-up display. Swish.
yeah. So we can just have a 3D display. And yeah, right, it won't be like completely up to date, perfect, but it'd be better than nothing.
That's fine. I don't mind ticking maps and charts to get in on that action.
So what? Sorry, just to confirm, what does this do? Is this a 3D image of the
Yeah,
ship?
because basically we're in complete darkness. We can't see. But
Right,
Mashishi's
cool.
saying, "Oh, I've got a map, so we're going to put like a virtual display into like a helmet display,
Oh, nice.
so we can sort of see like a sort of computerized image of roughly where we're going."
It's the wireframe of the goddamn trench.
It's like we're in Tron.
We did go in planning to do an awful lot of damage to their computer systems on our way in. It wasn't unfeasible that we were going to end up in the dark needing a map anyway. So
Absolutely.
Yep.
there we go.
That's it. Tick that maps and charts on your sheet, Viper. Welcome to Tron.
So yeah, you have technology to circumvent the dark that you find yourselves in now. However, And Zenith, it's you have your grappling thing going, and it's going, but it's a rough time for everyone, all three of you, because it doesn't seem like it was the artificial gravity of the way of light failing. It's something else instead, and the gravity sort of it switches to the roof, and it just like grinds you into it.
I'll rely on my armor. We've got like heavy
Yep.
armor on, so I'm just
Yep.
like, I imagine I'm like scraping along the roof with like sparks coming off, and I'm like it's fairly uncomfortable. But you know what?
Yep.
If it gets me away from whatever mad combat's going on behind me.
Yeah, this is one of the way users. There's fuck all I can do to affect that combat between them. Let's just try and crawl our way out of here as best we can.
Yep. So let's get a roll to make some headway. It's not. This isn't you walking or running anymore, so it's going to take a couple of. Let's say you're in the Solar Shrine. Let's make a roll to get into the crew quarters, which is sort of halfway point between this and the landing.
Have you got any suggestions for a roll? Because I do not have a clue what I should be rolling.
Yeah, depends on what you want to do. Obviously, if you want to call on your kinetics, for example, you could always get that going.
I would do, but I wasn't sure if I could because of the night voice being used.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That is true. In fact, yeah.
That's why I went for the grappling hook. Otherwise, I'd have just been like.
Yeah, which that is you trusting on Rai when he says that. Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. If like once I've been grappled a certain distance, I'm assuming it has a range. Once I get a certain distance, if I feel like, oh yeah, I can feel my connection to the way, I think I'm good. I probably will use my kinetics.
Yeah, yeah. For the moment, no, it's gone.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, if there's always scramble, I think it's called, where you're trying to like get.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna
keep going.
I'm gonna have to push myself with this bad boy.
Which you guys can help if you have something you could help with, because this is kind of a group thing going.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, does someone who's got like a better scramble than one want to make this roll?
I don't think there is anyone who's got a better scramble than one.
Okay, well I've boosted myself for one dice.
Unless I have to say, damn it, Jim.
Oh, do it, do it. Do it. Go for it. I'm a doctor, not a zero-G engineer.
What goes on here is the result of some like disaster training that I did years and years ago, where I was doing like zero-G disaster training, and I've like done some training mission to go through a fucking corridor or something at this.
I'm gonna take a stress to give you an extra dice.
Okay, so that'll be 4 dice. 6, a couple of 5s, and 4.
Yeah, and
6,
that's also desperate, so you can mark that XP. Okay, yeah. So you scramble to the crew quarters, which apparently the night voice doesn't reach quite this far. So you can feel like you can see now again. You don't need the heads-up display to see anymore, and there's a point probably where you're leaning hard against the gravity, whatever that is at the time, and then it lets go and you just like smash your head into the wall. It's like, oh well, that's it then. Oh,
thank God for
Jesus
this
Christ.
fetching dog-shaped helmet.
Yeah. And,
okay. Are we waiting for Owen, or are we getting back to the ship?
We get back to the ship. We then try and communicate with him, find out what's going on. If we can't communicate with him, or he says that we should go, we go. We should be back on the ship either way and ready to go and prepped.
I'm under the impression that as far as the Night Speakers are concerned, getting this artifact away from them is more important than us or Owen or that woman.
I agree. So we get back to the ship and we leave.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check the map.
Okay, so the threat here is basically the Battle Sisters. So Oinrai is going to be fighting with the High Priestess, and yeah. So as you're running towards the landing bays, your footsteps are beginning to be hounded by the blaster bolts of the Battle Sisters as they are being led after you by Diana.
Detonator over the shoulder.
Okay, let's get a roll going.
How big is this thing, by the way?
It's you can hold it in one hand. This is like a large sphere.
Is this risky or desperate, Jonas?
We're still in desperate.
Okay. I've pushed myself, so... Bonus dice, 1. 6.
Ah, yeah. So you toss it. I'm gonna put down a clock for this stuff. I'll just use that one. Okay, so there we go.
If any of the rest of you have got detonators, I'll say to the comms as I'm running, now might be the time.
So yeah, you toss a detonator over your shoulder, and that part of the corridor is vaporized, and you probably catch a sister or two in there. However, the smash of power armored feet does continue after you. So yeah, you're rushing madly through corridors. Mushishi is probably leading the way because you're the most familiar with this. You got the map on lock.
Viper, have you got any detonators on you?
That's not really how I came prepared today. Unfortunately.
Mishishi?
I came with guns.
If I have any detonators, then I don't have any medical equipment. It's up to you. But I think I'm more useful with the medical equipment.
Okay, well, I've just used my detonator, so I don't have any more.
Oh,
I have something called a heavy blaster, John.
In which case, I suggest you make use of it, Viper.
I have got one slot extra, sorry. I forgot about the extra slot from the thingy.
Yeah, I was going to say,
is a detonator.
Viper, have you taken into account we've got an extra slot? Because if not, get that detonator on.
So, communicator got the armor, the heavy blaster, maps. Yeah, I got 2 left.
Detonator.
Okay. So let's just do a quick flashback that I didn't think I'd brought one. It was edited like.
Yeah, I've slipped one in your
Yeah.
belt as I was walking past. I was like, you need this.
You won't need it. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll chuck a detonator. Am I gonna have to roll for this? This is the
Yeah.
Can I hoy it via scrap because I am a
Yeah, scrapping is literally fighting. So
badass mofo? Is this desperate still?
yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, so you do it. However, there's a consequence, and the consequence is
No. What's the consequence?
the consequence is going to be severe harm.
I'll resist.
Okay.
Man, that was like a government level U-turn, that was.
Yeah. I don't want to die.
It's not death. Let's see what that would actually be. So that would be. It would be 3. So 3 harm, which you need help to do anything, but you're not dead or dying.
That sounds like something I want to resist.
Yeah, it's kind of bad time, to be honest.
I'm gonna try. Okay. Prowess.
Yep. So that's 2 stress.
Oh god. Okay. It's getting up there.
Still good. Stay on target.
Stay on target.
Stay on target.
A little further.
We're gonna be going to play some cards later, my friend.
Okay.
You know what? I think I might hold on to my detonator in case we need it later. Let's just run some more.
Yeah. So you toss these detonators and then keep running. Is it? Okay.
And
so
when we get a little bit closer to the ship, my plan is to use my kinetics to like speed myself up, because I'm thinking if I can get back on the ship and open up with the pulse cannons on these power armored people.
Are we still in 0G?
No, gravity is back.
This is just went away for a while because that just happened.
Okay.
Yeah, shit happens when the night speakers get busy.
She got real.
Yeah. So that was the crew quarters, which you demolished with partly with your detonators. So now we're onto the cells, which is where you keep the heretics.
How close are we to getting out of the ship? Like, are we
still... med bay, and then it's the landing bay.
Okay.
So we're in the cells, then the med bay, then landing bay.
There's 100% not
the
going to be anybody
occupied?
in here.
There's probably some heretics there, yeah.
Are there guards here?
Sorry?
Are there guards here?
I'd assume not, because we fought our way through previously.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Let's get a fortune roll going, because there might be someone coming back.
Go on then, Mishishi.
1 dice?
Yeah, 1 die. Just high or low.
Oh, this is bad. It's a 1.
It's a 1. Okay, so there's apparently someone got told, like, you need to go secure the heretics. They might be coming to rescue them. And there's a unit here of Stellarite zealots.
Okay, as we run in, I'm going to use side dancing, which I can use on a small group, on the guards to basically release the prisoners and give them your weapons. And I'm hoping when the prisoners come out and they're obviously like, that might slow the because they'll sort of do it as we're running past. That might slow down the battle. Sisters, there's loads of prisoners rioting and firing guns. And I'll use a gambit to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't delete that because I need it. Oh, there we go. All right. So. We haven't traditionally rolled for side dancing. I don't think. I don't remember.
It doesn't take a roll. You spend it. You basically either spend.
Yeah, I know that you activate it, but there's no roll associated with any of this. No. But you can roll if it's not a given thing, which I'm trying to figure out here. Because on the one hand, like, these people it's like you're the devil to them, and their doctrine is about you being bad and resisting you. However, I don't think they expected it really at the moment, so let's just go with it for now. So you side dance and you tell them to start releasing the prisoners, which they will. So they go around figuring out the electric locks on the cells. So they're busy doing that. And yeah, you continue going. However, unfortunately for you, the Battle Sisters are being led by Battle Sister Diana, who is literally unstoppable. So she is very much on your tail. So as you go, please give me, I think probably, unless you have better ideas, probably prowess resistance rolls, just to make headway without getting tagged. You can, if you want to, not roll if you don't want to deal with the stress, but they will shoot you.
5 for mine.
Okay, so 1 stress. That
6.
is
5.
double sixes.
Double 6.
Yeah, so you recover 1 stress.
I got 5, so that's 1 stress, right?
Yep.
I think Viper's pushing it to the limit, judging by the beads of sweat. I can see how Matthew's snoring.
Yeah. So you run away from the cells.
Oh, I've only got 4 left.
So you run away from the cells into the med bay area, and there's just this like hail of blaster bolts, like just scathing the walls as you go.
Right, Mashishi, I'm assuming that like most med bays, this will have some sort of, when you press the button, like, oh, there's contamination and it locks down the med bay. As we run out, can you like hit that button? So hopefully the battle sisters will have to like cut their way through the door or blast their way through the door. No, as we go out, she hits it. We slide under the door. The battle sisters have to shoot their way through the door, which will hopefully delay them a little bit. Because they will get out, but hopefully that'll buy us a bit more time to get back to the ship. But I don't know anything about which button I'd have to press, whereas Mashishi's like a trained medic.
Yeah, no problem. There's a quarantine command, whatever, by most doors, because why wouldn't there be?
Yeah.
You're going to put
Please
that
state
in there.
the nature of your medical
Just
emergency.
make sure I'm the last one out.
Yep. So please give me a roll to affect
Sounds
this.
like doctoring.
Doctoring sounds good.
It's a 6.
So you do it. I'm thinking you're probably fine because you're doing the thing. However, Zenith, Viper, can I get some rolls for you to actually, because you're trying to do the exact thing that you're not supposed to do when the quarantine thing is triggered. You're trying to get out from underneath it. I'm going to say Mushishi is good because you know what you're doing. You know how this works.
I'll take a stress and increase my speed so I can like
kinetics
under the door.
Can I use helm to fly myself and get portness on my speed drop?
No, you cannot pilot yourself, unfortunately. if you had a jetpack, but you don't.
No.
Just skulk under the door, mate.
That Skulk's slow though, isn't it?
Yeah, Skulk is like being a spy, stealthy.
Wait, hang on. Won't I have a grappling hook with me as default because I don't need to pay the cost for that?
Does it say that on your sheet? If so, then yes.
I think
if it's in italics, yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think it is. Small airboat, victory cigars, grappling hook though. I'm not sure.
Grappling hook is not in italics, but it's there. It's on the top.
But I've got a spare slot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grapple hook me up, baby.
Okay. Yeah. Give us a roll for that.
Scrap, is that all right? Or would helm count in this case? I'm sort of aiming.
Nah, like you can roll either of those. However, that's going to be a shit ass time.
Yeah. Okay, scrap then I guess would be the.
So just to clarify, scrap is fighting.
Skulk.
It's going
to be scramble, mate.
You can roll any of these. I'm just letting you know. Some of these are worse than others. As John said, like scramble is the obvious answer. However, if you have other ideas, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm going to use scrap. So I'm going to shoot one of the dudes that are firing at us from the other side of the door and just like. That's on the other side from where we're going.
So you're running away from Diana and her unit.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get away. There's a door that you're trying to get under from before it closes, sealing the way for Diana and her sisters.
You need to roll under that shit like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
You might want to push yourself here.
Do you want a devil's bargain? Do you want to push yourself?
Sure.
What do you want to roll?
I'm gonna have to go scramble. It's gonna have to be. Oh, don't increase my skill. What would be the devil's bargain in this case?
It would be that you get tagged either way. They will just straight up shoot you.
Get me
regardless.
Okay. How is that like a level 3 hammer, 1 hammer?
Yeah. Let's
armor
go
on,
with
remember?
2. Let's go with 2. 2 harm. If you take the Devil's
Now,
Bargain.
just to check, once we're past here, we're in the launch bay. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're in the landing bay.
So if you do take 2 harm, we can just like grab you and get you on board the ship.
Yeah, but that affects my rolls for flying. Just bear that in mind.
It's all right, dude. I bought the skill where I can dock to you in game now.
Okay. All right.
I mean, hopefully you'll succeed, but just in case you don't.
Is it still desperate?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. Yes, it is.
What is the effect?
The effect, because you have the grappling hook, it's going to be standard. It would be little if.
Okay, so
if you
I'll
didn't.
take the Devil's Bargain, get an extra die.
Okay.
I'll push myself as well.
What a lad.
God, I know.
Push it to the limit.
This could be game over for me if I'm not careful.
Okay, so yeah, you do it. There's a consequence, however,
And I've been tagged.
which is, I'm gonna say,
That's all the stress I've got there.
I'm gonna say, it's the consequence is that Diana gets through as well.
Okay.
Zenith, not a fan. No.
John, I can't resist it.
She can do it.
If I resist it, I'm done.
Unless you roll double 6s and heal 1 stress. No, I know. I know.
That'd be an incredibly reckless thing to do.
We're down to the wire here.
I think she's coming through. I need to get us out of here. And I'm already at -1 die. You understand? Like no matter what I do now. Ouchie.
So we're not resisting the consequence?
No, because from what I see, I think I got shot, and it's like the shot propels me sort of further out of the door, but like it kind of shell shocks me a little bit. You know, I don't have time to stop her from getting through.
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
Oh.
So you get shot. However, you have the grappling hook. I think maybe like, do you have an actual like gun thing?
Yeah, I think it was a gun. That's I fired it like a.
Yeah. So you because you had the heavy blaster, right? So you let that like loose on the strap, which you obviously have for it because it's a big gun, and you get the grappling hook. You're just like running and just like shoot it under the door, and then just press the winch, and it's like you go flying forwards, and then you get shot in the back, and it's like, ooh, I almost black out a bit for a bit there because it hurts so much.
Good.
And you go under the door, and Diana like does a tiger leap, and like sends up a shower of sparks as well because she has power armor on, and she comes in through as well, smashing the bottom of the door as it closes, and she's on the other side as well. The other sisters get to work on the door there. Now, what do you guys do? You have Viper there. Viper, you're 2 harm. You can put it on your sheet there. You have the little...
Ouchie.
Yeah. Okay. Ouchie.
If I try my plan to get to basically kinetics myself on board and fire at the pulse lasers, Mushishi, can you deal with Viper?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting.
So that's the plan.
Give us some cover and we'll get onto the ship.
Yeah, so kinetics myself on board, bring the pulse lasers online, ready to shoot at the battle sister.
I'm gonna say as well, I don't think you guys have ever seen me injured before, like proper injured. So
No, you have been injured before because it's the only time I've had to use that bit of the doctor's skill.
Okay. I say my blood looks a bit weird. But we'll think about that later.
It's alright. I know you're some crazy like weirdo clone thingy. I'm not bothered. I'm not judging you, Viper. I'll still sew you back together.
Appreciated.
Yeah, so
Zenith,
I've taken
stress.
the stress to kinetics myself on board, and then
so you run like the wind.
Jump on board, stash the sphere.
Yeah, so you get to work on that. Unfortunately, the ship itself doesn't benefit from your thing.
Yeah,
But however, you get on board with the quickness. You get to work with that, with the particle cannons and whatnot. Now, Mushishi, what's up? The Battle Sister is rapidly on her feet. And what do you guys do, Viper and Mushishi?
Well, I believe I can. Oh no, that's. Well, when I doctor someone during combat, I clear a stress, but I've got no stress at the minute, so never mind, because I'm a combat medic.
Take a stress to patch me up. Push yourself.
But yeah, I think I'll be. Oh, in fact, no, I should be way more stressed because I've used that skill loads of times.
The illicit drugs on my sheet looks very tempting right now.
Yeah,
like,
basically,
whoa!
All I'm worried about right now is getting Viper into that ship and into his cockpit. I will try and treat him while he's in his cockpit, but right now we need to get the fuck out of here, and I'm very much aware of that.
Can I have a flashback for just a second, Johannes? This is to help my team out.
Yeah.
Because I was very paranoid about this mission.
Yeah, just before we get into it, this might cause stress. Because that's what flashbacks do. They cause 0 to infinity stress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, what do we have in mind?
My proposal is that I had my little airbot on the ship, that had like a kind of a pre-programmed quick boot up for the ship systems. So all I have to say is a command word into the communicator, and the airbot will start to boot up the ship, ready to fly, baby.
Yeah, that. Do you have the airbot marked?
I do not. I think I might have one left. And so I've got the armor counts as 1.
Yep.
Heavy blaster.
2.
Maps.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I use a detonator.
Communicator.
Communicate. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, I think I've used. Oh, I think I can't.
Yeah, the grappling hook. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah, you thought about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would have been real useful right about now.
Should have done it. But I'm reckless.
Okay. So Mushishi and Viper, what do? You saw Zenith speeding off into the Cerberus already.
I'm pretty much just dragging Viper into the Cerberus. I'm not giving you any choice in the matter. If you want to lay down some extra fire while we're going, that's fine.
I'm gonna fire.
We are getting into the Cerberus right now.
I'm gonna skulk my way onto the ship. She'll never know what's there.
Hold on, let me stealth my way around these crates here.
I'm gonna go John Cena.
Yep. So Mushishi, you're going. Viper, anything?
I was gonna fire off a few shots at this woman to try and hold her off.
Yep. Please give us a roll as you cover Mushishi dragging you away.
How do I do minus dice then in this case? Because I'm at -1 dice.
That's a very good question.
How do I do that?
Is there? Let me look at it.
Is the bonus dice going to be?
I presume you just type -1 into the bonus dice.
Oh, no, it's bonus dice -1. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So what position? Are we still in desperate at this moment?
Yes, it is in fact desperate.
Brilliant.
Because Diana is far above your league when it comes to anything, really.
Okay. I don't know that though.
Yeah, you don't, but it's like she's gonna run through a wall.
Push it to the limit. Limited effect, then I take it if she's unstoppable.
Yeah, that's one of her tags. John will know what I'm talking about. It's one of her attributes. Her stats is unstoppable. So she is extremely hard to hold back because She is higher tier than you. She has power armor on. She is unstoppable by default. She has a lot going for her when it comes to this particular situation. So
Does she have sweet armor like us though? Look
yeah.
at this stuff. We look so good.
Also,
At least I won't die looking like a bum.
I've added a thing, one more segment to the clock there, because I forgot earlier. So I'm gonna say the effect right now because you're right there. The effect is gonna be limited.
Right. Okay. Cool. That's fair.
Do you want to push yourself? Do you want to take a devil's
Card.
bargain?
What is the devil's bargain? Just entertain me for a second.
You're just gonna get shot again. Two harm.
Nah, I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna do 2 dice, like a mad lad. Yep. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So you do it. I'm gonna add a. Oh, that's the dead clock. We don't add that. So one more on that. Yeah. So you do it. However, there's a consequence. It's not risky. It is indeed desperate. So
Oh yeah,
you can add your XP. And yeah, the consequence is. What?
Don't give me stress, man.
The consequence is going to be Diana bulldozes over you because she figures you're not a thing. You're not a threat to her. So she basically like bulldozes over you, and Mushishi runs to the ship.
Oh man.
No. I was specifically trying to carry him back. I'm not leaving him behind.
Yeah, it's not about so much about like interfering with that, but she's just gonna be like, fuck these guys.
She's going for
and
the
she's
ship.
gonna like,
Bitch.
she doesn't need to drag anyone, and she has the actuators in her armor, so she's gonna run to the ship.
So she stomped over both of us and gone after Zenith.
Yeah, she's going after Zenith.
Oh right, fine. Sorry, I thought you were saying I'd run off ahead of her. I was like, I'm not leaving my patient.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, sorry.
If she destroys my ship, I'm taking these gloves off.
It's like, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
I'm gonna take that.
I've been playing it cool so far. But yeah, she's going to leave you and go after Zenith.
I did shoot her though, so I did. Does that slow it down?
Yeah, I've put a tick on the clock.
Okay. Have I got another action here? Can I do something before she gets like through the doors of our ship? Like while she's on that fucking ramp. I've still got my detonator.
Okay. And then after your detonator, we've got Zenith in the wings as well. Just like yanking on the controls, just like, turn, god damn it.
The detonator seems like a fairly skulky sort of a thing.
To be fair, she has run over you, so you just like, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
took it into a belt as she runs past.
I'm a doctor, not a pickpocket.
Yeah, you might want to use your
4.
3 and a 4. Okay.
And I believe I am tending to a patient, so I can expend my armor to resist any consequence.
Yeah, you are. So that was desperate, so you can mark your XP for that. Yeah, and the effect is limited. Okay, so what that is so what happens here is you get just bulldozed over by Diana. As you go down, you fling the detonator after her. She gets caught in the blast, goes flying. She needs to spend a bit of time picking herself up. Now, Zenith, this is where we have, like, this is the last chance before she's on board.
Okay.
And you've got your.
Yeah,
It's not a great shot, but
she's landed. She's a static target, so I'm literally just gonna fire all of the pulse cannons at her.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, it's again we're still in desperate.
I thought we might be.
Yeah, still limited effect.
Okay, here we go then. I've pushed myself. 5.
Okay, so you do it. So the clock is filled. That is done. And the consequence being... So I think what does happen is you you fire the... I like to think of this as like you're trying to will the turret to turn faster, and you just can't make it do it because it's a like
Why do these mechanical things always move so slowly?
and then like you start already firing before the thing is on top of her, because like it's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And you just like carve up the landing bay, and in doing that you destroy some critical infrastructure in like the layers beneath, which indeed have something to do with the force wheel holding the atmosphere in, which like starts flickering, goes out.
Yeah,
And
you might want to get on board, guys.
Yep. So what that means is, yeah, you dealt with Diana because she, like, she's off to space.
Use Viper's
And-
grappling hook.
Yeah. So you guys,
Oh, I feel my blood being rapidly torn out of my body.
yeah,
This is
you
unfortunate.
you're being rapidly drawn
I'm like
forwards.
a Capri Sun that's getting sucked dry.
There's the ramp, which Zenith has left down, which you could make it to. What do you do? You both have a very good chance
I'm
of
going to
doing
hide from the
something
void
useful.
of space.
Yeah, as a standard effect, die in space.
I just want to get on board the ship.
Yeah, you have the
So,
grappling gun.
Again, are we now in 0G again here?
We're not, but you're rapidly being like the atmosphere is being expelled at a
Okay,
rapid pace.
so-
So
I see this being something as well that would have been in that disaster emergency training
probably, yeah.
stuff.
The
And
standard stuff.
Getting thrown out into space.
I'd like to think that in this moment, Viper's going to be so weak, he's just going to let me drag him into the right place. I'm sort of hoping he's going to get his grappling hook out. Maybe. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm
Grapple the door, Viper!
Get your grappling hook.
And
out
I'll
for the
start
lads.
trying to drag you over there. And meanwhile, I want to take a look at like how bad is the damage in his spacesuit? Is it worth me trying to tape that shit over before we get there, or is it such a small distance that we're better to just make the run
I'm
for it?
bleeding really bad, Chief. Really bad.
Yeah, I know that. Let's
he
get
said-
you
he
to where
says
you can
that.
still breathe.
Yeah, he says that, but he's gonna make it. He's gonna make it on board.
Let's get on board.
Yeah. So you're being pulled, and Viper, you bring out the grappling
Yep.
hook.
I'm gonna scrap it.
Let's see the role of the game, I believe.
Is it still
Spend
is
a
it still-
gambit.
Is it desperate?
Yes.
We haven't got any gambits.
Just checking.
Yeah. No more gambits.
Standard effect.
Uh,
Limited.
yeah. The effect doesn't matter that much right now.
Okay,
It's
okay.
more about the whether you do it or.
-1 die. Oh boy.
Do you want a devil's bargain?
Never mind.
Oh, you don't. You do. Oof. Oof.
No.
Okay, can I suggest at this point, as I sort of see that he's not going to make it on board, I'm going to use my last stress to use my kinetics to like pull them on board.
Put it on. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you can grab the hook and like just slam it on a.
Well, I was thinking just like pull them on board. Right.
Yeah.
Never mind the
Yeah,
grappling.
that's
Please be
so
careful.
the grappling, like the hook itself, like just goes flying off, like pings off one of your armor plates, and you're standing, I presume, at the top of the ramp, just like, and then your course changes, like you get massive whiplash. As the,
All right, guys, I'll get us out of here. I've flown out of worse situations.
so you're dragged into the cargo area, I guess, of the Cerberus, just feeling like 1,000,000 credits, and
I need them. I got some debts to pay.
yeah, and then I guess it's you limp onto the cockpit, and off we go.
think I've lost a lot of blood.
Right, time for a doctoring roll, I believe.
Yeah, break out the kit and get
It's
to
not as
work.
bad as it looks. Oh, actually, that looks like a bit of rib. Never mind.
It was like, oh, that's not supposed to be there.
That's
Oof.
not supposed to be that. I thought I had 2 spleens.
Yeah. So does that reduce the damage itself?
The skill on the sheet says you may doctor someone during a job to allow them to ignore the effects of a harm penalty. I assume that it is by the same mechanism as in downtime where I roll my doctor skill, but I'm not really
so
sure.
what that means is they can ignore the -1 die that comes along with the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For one
It doesn't
roll or
cure
just
the
for-
thing. It
Yeah,
lets them
yeah.
get over it for now. Yeah.
I'm patching him up so he
Yep.
can fly us out of here, and then I'll get him properly fixed
Oh,
later
this
on.
means I'm gonna get the good drugs, not the bad ones. The good.
It's like, fuck me up, Doc.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're
Yeah,
driving.
I'm walking you to the fucking pilot
Straight in the eyeball. I've got a
station,
spare.
the
Do it.
fucking cockpit, and telling you, yeah, I'm getting the good drugs for you. I'm getting them all ready. Here's my
Strapping me.
syringe. Look, ping, ping.
It's-
Roll a duct tape round the spacesuit and hold all your innards in. Now fly us out of here before we all get killed.
This space
Mhm.
map will
I
be
can't
worth it.
sew you back together if I'm in an inquisitorial torture chamber. Let's go.
Yeah, that seems like a bad time. Okay, so Viper, you're gonna make it. It's just about whether or not you get extra heat at this point. The Way of Light is very busy with the Ascension right about now, so you're not in any more danger. It's just about whether or not you left an impression. So give us a you could
As
actually
we
helm a
ran
ship.
Predator style through the spaceship with a massive group of fucking heavily armored soldiers chasing us.
Do I need to fly out of this ship? Do I need to?
The real question is, did we leave anybody alive to talk about it?
Well, yeah, most of the Battle Sisters are still alive. They're just in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're being quarantined.
And they're going to have to explain to their superior officers later on how they got trapped in that room at the other end of the ship from where the attack was going on.
Yep. Why exactly?
They're lucky we didn't actually drop some shit on them because we have a habit of doing that.
Oh yeah, of course. We forgot our signature move of the exploding toilet.
Just empty the waste valves as we're flying out of the ship.
Yeah, just empty the septic tank of your ship. Propellant.
All right, I'm gonna get us out of here.
Okay.
Good.
This is gonna be a helm roll, correct?
If you want to fly the ship, you could actually helm.
Yeah, is it still risky or are we desperate? Oh, sorry, still desperate.
I think we're on to like it doesn't matter. Risky.
Okay, standard effect still.
Yeah.
Back to 3 die and reckless left. Boom. Yeah.
Okay, so the consequence is you get extra 2 heat. You're
I'm
good.
so high right now, I don't care.
Woo!
Woo! Also, I daren't resist.
I gotta get me one of these.
Yeah. What did you put in the coffee?
Welcome to the Cerberus, son.
Woo woo woo! Who let the dogs out? Yeah, good times. So, yeah, you fly away from the Way of Light. You abandon the Way of Light, as someone does for sure.
I start laughing manically. We throw a boulder at them.
Yeah, and you get to the jump gate and you're out of the system.
What happened to the Night Speaker dude though? Because he's not with us, right?
Yeah, no, he's not with you. No.
He'll get a lift with the Lost Legion. It's fun.
Yeah, he was working with the Lost Legion, and because he was, yeah, I will go engage the High Priestess, and if you can get you got the fucking thing. So great. So I'm gonna go fight this person, and you do your thing. You have the orb. You know what to do. And
see, it's like we were playing capture the flag, whereas he was playing kill the king.
Yep.
So 2 different games just happened to work out nicely, and both of us won.
Yeah.
After about 5 minutes, I'm gonna communicate. I'm gonna be like, "Can I have some more drugs, please?"
Like 5 minutes of like non-stop Ric Flair, and
Yeah.
then it's like, by the way, do you have any more of those?
Can I have some?
Yeah, good times.
Is
So
that mission complete? Did we do
that
it?
is that is mission complete.
That was stressful.
Yeah, it actually was, especially for Zenith.
Zenith's like one slight hair twitch away
No.
from
No, I'm not.
NPC-dom.
No.
I used my last
He's
stress to
gone.
get you guys on board.
No.
Yeah. John let me know like way in advance, like if there's gonna be like the last bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
I was like, I've got 1 stress left. If I need to use it to get you guys on board and make sure we can all get off, I will do. And when you were
So it
like,
doesn't
I've
matter
missed
if-
my grappling hook, I was like, yeah, there we go. That's me done.
It doesn't matter if I help you reduce your stress. It doesn't matter.
No, because I get
No.
the trauma as soon as I accumulate the stress.
Yeah.
I'm done.
No.
No. No.
Yeah. So yeah, that is mission complete. I entirely forgot to talk about the recompense, which obviously like the reputation and the relationship stuff, that is all a part of it, but you also were promised a hefty sum of 8 cred for the job.
To be honest, I'm hoping I get a fetching new mask out of it.
Yeah, you will definitely get to
When we like pimp up and we're like, there you go. There's your
No
orb.
problem.
yeah. So I'll get the downtime stuff.
I'll be
So-
soon joining you, John. Again within a careless whisper of NPC. Never
So
gonna
is
roll
that
again.
it then? Are we wrapping the story up there?
That is
Now that we're down a character?
that's a discussion for all of us really to partake in. So how are we feeling like? I feel like it's definitely an option. We could stop it here, do something else next, or we could keep going. John gets a new character going. We're good. Whatever
I'm
we
happy with
decide to
either.
do with that, that's fine. Yep.
Seems to me like either way, this is a good place for a story break, and to, like,
Yeah.
as you say, maybe do a different game for a little bit and maybe come back to this one later.
That's also an option.
Yeah, maybe.
For sure, yeah.
Part of me wants to see how the knight, discusses.
Yeah, what they're up to.
what the end game is.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
There's 4 missions
yeah,
away.
There's also that if you
Yeah,
want to do the end game thing, this is a good time to start doing that as well. But then obviously, as you say, John's got to come up with a new character.
could it be
Oh no, it's going to take me so long to gen up.
Could it be the mastermind that's in control of Zenith the entire time?
It's Benneth, the
My
for-
name is
force user.
Reneth.
Kylo Reneth.
I just want to let you know ahead of time, Hannes, that my downtime activities is indulging my vice.
Yeah, gonna gamble a little bit.
Just gonna.
Just gonna let off a little bit of that
Steam-
steam.
steam.
You should have just found the
Yep.
quickest way to reduce your stress like me.
Join the night speakers. Yeah.
So I still need to recover my harm as well. I've got a patched up leg. Looks like I've got like a moon on my back. The hell of a.
Yeah, you got a heavy
Clipped.
blaster hit on your back.
These,
So
these guys don't mess around.
yeah, how are we feeling like? Do we wanna? Because there's whatever we want to do, we can. So if we want to, we can keep doing this game. John makes a new character, joins the Cerberus as the new third head, and we'll keep doing whatever you guys want to do. We could leave this one be for a little bit,
Mhm.
do something else, come back if that's what we want to do at the time. That's fine. If we want to just call it here, That's also fine.
I'm easy like a Sunday morning, to be honest. So, what do the rest?
I think the problem is we're all pretty chill, Hannes. So that's you know getting a solid
Yeah,
answer out
yeah.
of this is going to be
That's
difficult.
It does seem
But-
like a good place for a season break, and then we can come back to it with fresh eyes later on.
My thoughts are either see the end game of the Night Speakers, or it's been a take a break. It's been a nice.
Well, since you're like take a break or see the end game, Hannah's like take a break, and I'm easy. Why don't we take a break? Because that's two of you saying take a break.
Yeah, that is
You know,
entirely
maybe
good.
burn some different wheels. You know.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I tell
wheel does go
I'll tell you
round.
what,
That
love.
that was as subtle as an actual wagon wheel, John.
That's
like,
right, man. I tell you what, love. If you're having trouble with the roll 20 for this, that burning wheel is going to blow your mind.
It's
Anyway,
alright.
Oh, boy.
I think if it's going to be that complicated, we'll do that thing where I put my audio onto your computer and just sit next to you with my laptop so I can follow the roll 20.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about all that.
It's also
Yeah.
blades.
Yeah, there is.
The
the
Band
other
of Blades sounded kind of good as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would keep us in the same framework of the rules. Yeah. Okay, so I guess that's it for this first season of the what do you call it? The Voyage of the Cerberus.
Yeah.
As the
yeah.
Cerberus flies away from this massive combat with this like
Yeah.
orb going like mystery box in the fucking back room. That's a classic end of season for modern TV, man.
Yeah. With Zenith, like staring a little bit too intently into the orb.
Is he okay back there? Or is it just
We
me
know
being
he's
high
coming
as a
back
kite?
to be a villain halfway through season 2. But for whatever reason, the actor's moving on.
Yeah.
Maybe next season they could get some like enthusiastic, scrappy young kid.
Well, you
to
about
replace
if
the
I
grumpy old man.
if I come back, I'm going to play like one of the muscle characters, and I'm just going to rip off Arnie from Predator.
I'm still going to refer to you as the young pup every time.
I'm not a pup. I'm a hound.
Quiet now,
Get
puppy.
slobbered.
If it bleeds, I can kill it.
Yeah. Good times. Yeah. Actually, yeah. That might be fun. Like do some
Plus
like
you get the starting ability unstoppable.
yeah. You could do some like bug hunts and stuff. Like that might be fun because it's a little bit different from what we've been doing. But let's get to that when we get to that. So, yeah. So that was it. Season 1, done and dusted. We got up to some weird hijinks along the way, and
I love the way it sounds like you didn't like the sort of end, like the music should come on. You're like, hey, we've had some crazy times aboard the Cerberus.
yeah. And then like the highlight reel, like maybe the blooper reel.
It's been a really good fun game.
Yeah, I've loved it.
Yeah, it's
been
it's
great.
been
Yeah.
pretty fun. Yeah.
And I was
It's really
quite
nice to play with John and Hannah at the same time. It's been really cool.
I was quite glad as well when I did eventually NPC myself, as we thought might happen. It was doing it to like save the other two characters rather than just being like, I'm crushing someone with the way.
I will now be evil.
Your last good act.
That's it. Before I don my black robes and join the Night Speakers.
Don the mask. Yep. Yeah.
So, well, thank you very much for running it. Very much enjoyed
Thanks
it.
for playing.
It's been really good.
Okay, I'll stop the recording here. So, catch you later, anyone who's watching.